So, as all of you know, I've been starting my collection of HO and OO model trains. With hopefully a couple more engines coming after this video comes out, I decided I'd start a series talking about my journey with model railways. After all, this style of video is part of why I wanted to get into it again. Now, I'd like to say I'm not doing things with this just for the internet. I am doing it because I want to. Seriously, this kind of mindset is what drove TTT Guy away from this. So, I kindly request that you keep stuff about my models to the videos about the models instead of spamming the comments on other videos that don't have anything to do with it. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. The first exposure I had to Bachmann was when I was 5 or 6 years old. My parents got my older brother a Thomas starter set. Based on what I remember, it was most likely used. And based on how easily it broke, it was either poor quality or I was a stupid child. Probably both. We don't have anything left from this set other than Clarabelle and a piece of Trek I found after writing this script. Both of them are broken and on my shelf. Let me know what you think I should do to Clarabelle. That was the only Bachmann stuff I had prior to 2025. The second time I was interested in Bachmann was 2017 or 2018, and that was because of the Great Train Race by Trains Are Fun. I was really interested in Bachmann because of this. This was also back when Bachmann was affordable by today's standards. Yay! Sadly, I never acted upon this desire, so I got nothing from it. Then there was starting in 2021 when I watched the Unlucky Tugs videos on how he built his models. And I wanted to get into it too. But this hobby destroys wallets. So that never got acted upon either. I really wish this is where I started asking for Bachmann. I'd have so many more engines by now. Finally, we get to 2025. I watched TTTE Guy's videos on how he got into Bachmann, including the starter set he chose. At this point, there were 2 other engines on Amazon that were a reasonable price, the Beatles E2 and Smokey Joe. I figured I could get the starter set, then Ringo and Joe. That's what I would have named them. I would have also collected Bachmann Thomas stuff, but to my regret, I didn't ask for it for my birthday, nor did I ask my parents about buying it for myself. But it was the day before my birthday, while I was at a museum, that I finally brought up to my parents that I wanted the set. And for Christmas 2025, I finally got it. I was so incredibly happy to get this. And now with the history out of the way, let's get into it. As I said, I got the Hornby Christmas starter set. It came with an engine, whom I named Christian, and 2 trucks. And within the first hour, both Christian and the blue present truck fallen off the table. Thankfully, Christian was unharmed because of the sheet I used to have over my old table. The presents in the blue truck did get a slight chip, but I could care less about that. I had these guys on a table that had been in the basement as my train table, which used to be a work desk for my mom. I would decorate the layout and add scenery with what little I had until I could get more professional items. This was all I really had as my model layout for a while. I had intentions to get Smokey Joe, the Beatles E2, and a blue Ginty, but I never did. I also wanted some track packs to expand the layout. However, there were some problems with the table I was using. It was long enough to expand a bit, but it wasn't wide enough to really do anything wider. So the layout generally became an afterthought for a while. That was until ambitions changed. Earlier this summer, I had a bit of a revelation. I knew I eventually wanted to tackle something like this, but not sure how. But I finally made a decision. I was going to make a Christian Thomas the Tank Engine trilogy using model trains. If I was going to do this, I needed a larger table. Earlier this year, my mom had already agreed to remove the table in the basement and replace it with 2 folding tables. And finally, early in June, we cleaned out the basement pretty heavily and made room for the tables. I grabbed 2 folding tables from outside and they're uneven. Yeah, I did try getting different folding tables, since we have 4, but that didn't seem to help. No matter what, they'd always just sink. At least one of them would. I think it's the ground they're on, even though it's carpet. Guess that's something I'll have to fix eventually. But for now, it's fine. I use Jenga blocks to hold up that part of the rails. This new setup is amazing, as I have so much more room for everything. I can fit a Trackmaster layout and an HO00 layout. I also got bored one night and set up the Superstation. That's where the layout stands as of now. I'm hoping by my birthday to get some of these track packs in order to expand. That'll have to wait though. So I have a proper table now. Unfortunately, there was an incident. During this process, the yellow van fell off the table and actually came apart. Thankfully, it was easy to reassemble. But then, once the channel had started, Christian fell off the table and now his cap's loose. Yay. Now onto the part of the story you should all already know. As I stated, my overall goal is to make a Christian Thomas the Tank Engine trilogy. For that, my plan was to make models of all the characters. I needed numbers 1 through 5 for the first movie. My plan was to get the Beatles 060 for Thomas, a Hornby T9 for Edward, specifically a BR Black one with the 3-wheel tender, a Black 5 for Henry, an A1 Flying Scotsman for Gordon, and an overly complex selection of things for James. I decided to get Henry first, since I was hoping I'd get the Beatles 060 for my birthday this year. I found a cheap one on eBay with 0 bids and was going for around $75 total excluding tax. It probably would have been a bit more with tax. My mom didn't approve of the price. Who wants to tell her? Oh wait, I already did. But thankfully, we got it after offering a little less for it. With tax, it was $77. Again, less than what it probably would have been. I wasn't expecting it until the middle of July, so maybe around this time, but it came in the mail on the 6th. Wow, it's here early. I'm so excited. What could go wrong? Well, he's not a very good runner. Yeah, this engine will never do. I guess that's what I get for buying a cheap, used engine. I wouldn't say I regret buying him, though, as I do like the look of this engine. Still, he's never becoming Henry. This one experience really changed my entire view on this whole idea. I didn't want to constantly deal with crappy engines that don't work, and I feel the lower price just isn't worth it. As much as I wanted to go through with my plans to make 00 scale models of the characters, I knew it would work better to just buy the Bachmann models. So my plans were shafted in favor of Bachmann. All of them, barring Thomas and one other, are on my birthday list now. I don't know if I'll get any of them, but I'm hoping for at least one engine. As for the Black 5, he'll just be on the layout with Christian. I considered naming him Stan, after William Stanier, but I don't know. Julian just seems better to me, so his name is Julian. His personality is that he ain't that bright, and he talks in a dumb guy voice. And that's where the collection currently stands. We're still just beginning our journey, and I hope to keep expanding the collection. And I will. As of July 13th, a new engine is on the way. our first Bachmann-Thomas engine. You'll see who it is next time. Before we end things, I do want to once again clarify details about this series and just my journey as a whole. First of all, I'm unemployed. I have no source of income other than completing tasks and getting rewarded for it. I have a lot of money saved up from several years of failing to spend it, but it's not nearly enough. So don't expect me to get new engines too frequently. I'll still try and get them as often as I can. 2, I'm not doing this for the internet. Both this hobby and the Christian films are only for myself and God. I have no intention of getting engines or making customs solely for the internet. If you want to make suggestions, feel free. I'm open to that. But I overall don't want to appeal to the internet. Finally, I do have other content to entertain you. The model layout isn't the only thing I do or am going to do. I have plenty of other plans for this channel. I'm currently working on another big project. Hope you all understand. Thankfully, part 2 will be out very quickly. Maybe next week, just after my birthday. Part 3 will be a while though, since I don't expect to do much with the layout or the collection for at least a little bit. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out!